The situation in the Russo-Ukrainian war has taken a different turn. Well, that might be an understatement. It has taken a lot of different turns. Starting with the first point, the military, the tactical, and the frontline developments are projecting in a generic yet unique way. So, for instance, there is a lot of strategic pressure in Crimea. Ukraine, as we have known it, is no more in that arena. They are working on a very new style of technological and categorical military strategic development, which is helping them, and the Russian side is, although very slowly and very weakly, it is just like a dominoes effect that it will take a lot of time to capsize, but it is still losing ground very sadly and very badly for the Russians. There is a few bullet points that correlate and explain these developments and these gestures. The first of them is the strategic pressure on Crimea. Now, if you know Crimea, Crimea has been kind of the center of the Black Sea fleets. It has been one of the major arteries of funneling resources out of the Russian Federation for sale, and at the same time funnel of modern products, the imports of Russia into the Russian Federation. So it is a very important point. It has always been considered, and it is still to this day has, at least in theory, been the major hub of supply, right? Well, it is turning rather into a supply problem and not into a supply hub. So it is not advantageous, but rather disadvantageous to the Russian Federation, which is a point that a lot of people have to ponder. Second point, strategically, the Kerch Bridge in the Ukraine peninsular region, the Crimean Peninsular region has been targeted consistently. This puts a lot of stress on Sevastopol and Crimea as a whole. Very dreadful stress. Tourism is dropping, the infrastructure is dropping. It is a very solid foundation, but it is still collapsing in a very meager manner. So that needs to be the second point of understanding and developments that are recently ongoing. Apart from this, using this as an ideal, as an explanatory, and as an experimental phase, other facilities like the Volgograd facility and the Valgrad Titan facility have been targeted by the Ukrainian forces with utmost precision. This is a very downplayment of situations for Russia, and oil refineries have been hit as well. This doesn't sound so bright. And Russia is at the receiving end of all these damages. There is a technological innovation happening with Ukraine. 3D mapping by the sources of geothermal imagery, satellite planning, global positioning systems, mated with autonomous drone systems. So the drones that are the physical operating tool, and the informative tool, the technological developments in 3D mapping, geothermal imaging, and all this software mated with this hardware is dubbed currently as the digital twins. And digital twins are doing a lot of work in a very cheap work and a very cheap disposable technology. They are doing very heavy damage, and they have been reported to have as much as 95% of precision and target achievement structures, which is a lot, a bloody lot. This is, to put it into perspective, around 30% more effective than traditional artillery, which has been the backbone of support for the modern defense systems. Well, I believe Ukraine has crossed a lot of technological bounds by leaps in this regard. And this can also be seen in the Operation Epic Fury, where the US have been conducting these things. These are working very well. The other point is lopsided casualties. Russians are losing, at least currently, at this very narrow junction, but still, this is a lot, around, say, 7 to 8 at minimal and 17 to 20 at maximal points to 1% of Ukraine, and which is a lot. Although the Russian Federation has larger forces, they have a larger budget, larger economy, stronger state, but still, if you're losing that way, it means you are kind of being pushed back very successfully by Ukraine. So that is another point. There is this Kiev and Belarusian front, which Russian Federation has decided that they are going to push the combined joint strike forces from the Belarusian side into Ukraine. But as of now, it is inoperative. We haven't seen any developments over there because of probable lack of surety from the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. So that is to be tested. But on the other hand, Russia might, in addition to Belarus, gain Poland. The president Nawrocki, of which, and this other member of the European Parliament for Lower Poland, I believe his name is Assemblyman Brown, Grzegorz Brown, is also a lot of anti-Ukraine sentiment, so that remains a point to be tested as well. But let's see what happens. The Kremlin might have a few cards up its sleeve. They mostly do. As of now, Ukraine is apparently and very clearly appears to be in the strategic and destructive as well lead. The strategic stagnation of Russian forces is another point. Russian forces are advancing into Ukrainian territory. No doubt to that, that is a clear indication. But they are halted very strenuously. The thing is, fortified cities. Ukraine is showing die-hard resistance in front of the Russian forces, and as such, Russians are finding it very hard to process. They are processing, but very hardly, and they're having an ultra-terrestrial and fluid difficulty. So it is quite problematic for them. One of the reasons is bad logistics. Logistics are bad, quote, bad. And as such, with bad logistics, Russian troops are finding it very difficult. Diesel, lack of diesel, the bombing of refineries, and the economic spectrum of spread logistics is proving very difficult for the Russian troops. It's not happening in a very good manner. Equipment evacs. Yes, Russia has decided a lot of major and advanced equipment to be evacuated from the Crimean Peninsula region for the sake of administration, or for the sake of operative efficiency, or for the sake of defense. Nobody knows what is the major reason, but these three are the major reasons, and let's see to what happens properly. This is proving bad for the troops. Hybrid warfare and economic strain are affecting points that are the core reasons. The Russian FSB is conducting major sabotage, discord, and destruction, informative poisoning, plastic destructions. They are happening. But are they merely at par with the Ukrainian forces' technological destruction? That puts you on a secondary perspective. So for a country that is considered one of the major powers on the globe, like Russia, being so downplayed consistently by Ukraine shows that Ukraine is way more stronger than we would have had believed if not for the current free media structure. So I believe Ukrainians are doing very well. Let's come to the global support. Russia has a lot of supporters that are strong, no doubt with that. But Ukraine is currently on agreement, and the agreement has completed to acquire Groibgen 16 jets from the Swedish Defense Forces, which is most probably going to turn the tide of war in favor of Ukraine on a much larger quote scale. Bilateral complexities with Poland might downplay, but Sweden appears to be on the side of Ukraine. The EU also has taken an approach that Ukraine should not appear at the front line of destruction, just like Russia, due to the reason that it might affect the European power structures, power dynamics. Power here, I do not mean political authority, but rather fossil fuels that are going from Russia to Europe. So it is happening. It might be kind of described as a political leash, but then again, the world is not perfect. There might be a joint Dutch and German command called the Baltic Command formed in the Baltics, as the name suggests, to help Ukraine with pushing back Russia as a more lean and a more efficient way of operative command structure. So that is possible. And the Ukrainian commander of the please bear with me, I'm really sorry. The Ukrainian commander of the Kiev and Belarus area front, Front Commander Syrskyi has spoken about this, but then again, joint capabilities with NATO are going to help them in a very efficient manner. In all these things, there is a last point, and that point I would give you a few bullet points, but it is upon you to decide this answer. Please answer this in the comments and leave your wildest thoughts about it. This is the free media. We want to know what you think and what we would make of it. Why is the Russian Federation not yet resorted to, and probably would not in the soon and foreseeable future resort to the use of nuclear weaponry? That is a question. The possible grounds that I might provide to you are image of the Russian leadership. They don't want to be seen as that. The other point is nuclear weapons are a deterrence, a threat. This display of firearms rather than firearms themselves. This is not the 1900s where you use them actually. They are just for instilling fear into the hearts of the enemy. And also, any use of such things would not only destroy the ecosystem of economics for you, but also the political, turning the whole world against you, public and political. But what do you believe in such regards? Please comment. Please like the video and if possible subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. Have a good day.